All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. And in today's episode, I wanted to talk on a video game that when was the last time I had played that game? Overall, there was at a point in time where I was talking about a video game a lot. That video game is called X4 Foundation. Last time I played that game was back in January. Here's the thing. X4 Foundation, and I feel that people will hear this and they would just more so hear the negatives that I have to say about it. And I guess, yeah, overall, I can admit that there has been a lot of negatives than positives that were said about that game. But here's my problem, though. What developers and a lot of people don't understand is that not everybody is going to have the same mindset when playing the game. So if you're thinking, oh, people are going to want to sit down hours upon hours watching YouTube videos, playing all the tutorials, trying to figure out what their playstyle is. There are people that want that, and there ain't nothing wrong with that. But there are also people that just want to sit down, casually play the game, and have fun. When it seems like I'm putting in like a full-time job of work into just trying to figure out how to play the game, that's not a video game anymore at that point. I don't know what it is, but it's not a video game. And so people, I feel like they want to call it a simulation. Here's the problem, though, with that. How can you simulate something that you ain't never done before? So, overall, people trying to say X4 Foundation is a simulation based game. It's not a video game. It's a simulation game. And I'm like, okay, regardless of whether it's a video game, a simulation game, or any other game you want to call it, it's being sold on Steam. It needs to be a video game first. If you're trying to make a simulation, you need to have that for a separate, you put that on your guys' own personal website. So when a person buys your guys' game on Steam, they're having fun with it. And that's the thing where I can say that every time when I have played that game, it's always been some sort of problem. Now, I will say that they got a good foundation, when it comes to content, but the issue is that they expect you to go through all of these tutorials just to figure out how to fly your spaceship. Go through all these tutorials just to figure out how to do combat. You had to go through all these tutorials just to travel around in the galaxy. And then I remember that was one thing where, and that's there's a lot of different things I need to say. I am going to talk on the toxic fan base surrounding X4 Foundation. I'm like, to the developers behind that game, if you guys know what's best for you, you need to listen to the people like me. And if you don't want to listen to me, fine. You listen to anybody else in your community that wants the best for your game. But that's overall what I want. I spent money on this game. I want the best for it. I want it to be a game where I've put hours into playing it, not figuring out how to play it. Because I have to say, I probably have spent maybe an hour or two figuring out. Hold on for a second. Let me check how many hours. 8 hours. I've spent 8 playtime. That's how much time I didn't put into this game. I guarantee and I promise you, at least 6 to 7 of those hours have been me trying to figure out how to play the game. But anyways, no, I wanted to talk on the fans real quick because I'm like, I was going to talk on something else. Maybe that might come to mind, but I'm like, I need to talk on the fans real quick because the fans will take it as disrespect if I do a video, if I do a podcast episode, even having it where there was the one guy where I did some video and he was all like, oh, I want to debate you. I'm not seeking a debate. I'm not seeking your validation for the game. I'm not seeking anything from you guys. I'm talking on my frustration. I don't know what part of that you don't understand, but I'm talking on my frustration. So people trying to come after me, that's something where I'm like, look, bruh, this is a community where I can see some sort of beef or drama is going to come out of it. I ain't even going to fool with the game because lately I have been getting a lot of different comments from the community and I'm thinking to myself, I'm not allowed to have my own opinion about the game. You guys, that's the thing that I don't like right now with the gaming industry is that if a game comes out and I don't like it and I say that I don't like it, then people are trying to get on me for not liking it. What does me not liking the game have to do with you? That's what I would like to know. Me having my own personal issues. Yeah, you know how to play the game. You sat down and watched the YouTube tutorials. You sat down and went through the tutorials in the game. You did all of that stuff. Me, on the other hand, it's when I sit down and I think of a lot of different games that I done played, from racing games to shooter games, to where each game's gonna be different. Like Battlefield's gonna be different from Call of Duty. Call of Duty is gonna be different from Halo. Halo's gonna be different from Destiny. Destiny is gonna be different from, I'm trying to think, some other shooter games out there. Ready or Not's gonna be different from some other shooting game out there, but that's the thing, though, that they know that everybody is not no super soldier in Halo. They know that you're not no regular soldier in Battlefield. They know that you're not some other super soldier in Destiny, or some SWAT team member in Ready or Not. You are a person trying to play a video game. So at the end of the day, what would be a problem if they just added some sort of difficulty where people like me can sit down and enjoy the game? It's not no crazy experience if you guys tell me to do a mission and I'm being chased and getting killed, or whether some other stuff in the game, building this spaceship. I'm saying, like, you make it as if like the game is supposed to be meant for people that actually went to space and did all the things that's being done in that game. No, them people don't even exist right now. Yeah, you got people that went to NASA and did all this other stuff, but I'm saying, at the end of the day, the game that you guys made, you need to make that game for people, like casual people. If people want a difficult challenge with the game, that needs to be offered. But it also needs to be offered that people can have an easier experience with the game. But no, I just remember the time where one of the fans from X4 Foundation, there's that community, where I either had did a video or a podcast episode talking about the game. But anyways, the guy commented, sent me a tweet, and then eventually joined my stream trying to debate me. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, I never agreed to no debate. So, like, why are you here trying to debate somebody off of a video? Like, that's the thing. There are people in this world, they try so hard to be right on a situation. And I'm like, fam, if you want to say that you're right on X4 Foundation being a good game, you can have that right. All right, you can have that. But as far as me having an experience with the game where I didn't enjoy it, you cannot take that away from a person. And that goes for any video game out there. You cannot take it away. And even if it's the greatest game, even if it's a game that I say that I like Assassin's Creed Shadows, for an example, you can say that you had a bad experience with that game. I'm not going to take that away from you. I'm going to allow you to have that bad experience. It ain't even something where I'm going to allow you. Regardless, I can't say nothing about your bad experience with the game. If you don't understand the controls, I'm like, hey, there's just games out there where it's like, but I mean, with Assassin's Creed Shadows, like, they do have it where it's a difficulty settings and stuff on there. So it's not comparing it to X4 Foundations. Yeah, you have a better shot at being a black samurai or some the other woman or the woman in the game. Versus trying to man a whole spaceship by yourself with like no proper form of guidance, because that's the thing, the tutorials are so different from the missions. So I'm like, fam, why not just have it where you put me into the game, but have it where there's a tutorial going throughout the game? So like, if there's a button I need to press to start up my spaceship, that exists. The one thing that I will say is that I did like how the game it auto landed for you when you were landing at a base, because there's other games that don't properly do that. They're like, there was the one game, dang, what was the name of that game? It was some space game where I was like, yeah, the landing in there was all off. And I'm like, I might not have a whole lot of good things to say about X4 Foundations, but yeah, but their landing mechanics, I'm like, yeah, I did like it. But anyways, getting back to that guy. So I've talked on this person before. If you guys seen me play the video game Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown, you probably already know the story. If not, was there for the stream when they had happened. But so anyways, I'm playing Test Drive Unlimited Solar Crown. The guy that wanted to debate me from the X4 fan base, he goes and he joins my stream. So I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I really don't want to talk, because I already know how this is going to turn out. I'm like, I really don't want to talk with this guy. I'm over here thinking, I'm like, maybe I should just end my stream. But I'm like, you know what? I just started. I want to play this game. I'm going to just continue on playing. So anyways, I'm doing this race where it was like multiple, like, just random cars and stuff, but I had a Mustang. And so it was like AI like players and stuff. It wasn't like actual people and things. So anyways, I'm flying down this street. All of a sudden, I see a Mini Cooper just speed past me, just gone, like straight on some Bugatti stuff. It just started doing like all these just miles per hour down the road. Like it was flying, like faster than the Mustang. So I had made a comment saying that's unrealistic. Ain't no way a Mini Cooper is gonna beat out a Mustang in a race. This guy, he wanted to, and I'm saying, like, when he wanted to debate me, he wanted to debate me. And that's what he wanted to originally debate me on, was about X4 Foundations. I'm like, I'm not gonna debate you about a game that I don't like. Now, if it's a game that I like, and then we're debating about just random stuff in the game, then okay, cool, that's a proper debate. But you're trying to debate me on a game, because I'm like, if you really want me to say what I need to say about this game, oh, trust me, I will say it. Okay, but and I'm gonna talk on that. I feel like there's just a lot of things I need to say overall regarding X4 Foundations, and just overall shut this community up. But anyways, getting back to this story, and this is what I mean by like them having toxic fans, because this ain't the only one. So anyways, I go and I make that comment sound like there ain't no way possible a Mini Cooper is gonna beat out a Mustang in a race. This guy's all like, oh, we're on corners, it can. I'm like, fam, corners, straightaways, a Mustang is winning that race not even 9 times out of 10, 10 times out of 10. Okay, bigger engine, much more faster when we're talking top speed. There is no way possible a Mini Cooper, unless it's like a souped up Mini Cooper and it's tuned. Other than that, it is not possible for a stock Mini Cooper to be a stock. And you can have like the best Mini Cooper and the best Mustang. I think the best Mustang on the market right now is, I think it's the Dark Horse. I don't know if they still do Shelby's, but anyways, you could get the fastest Mini Cooper and it still ain't gonna be, it's not even gonna be in that same conversation as the fastest Mustang. But I'm like, you can take maybe, because I know there's the GT, or because I think there's just like the so it's the Mustang V6. And of course, like I feel like a V6. I'm like, yeah, you can still take the fastest Mini Cooper, and it might not be, it's either gonna be a situation where the Mustang's still gonna be faster, or it's gonna be a neck and neck race. But anyways, overall, it's like they're two different classes of cars. Like a Mini Cooper is more of a, what would a Mini Cooper be classified as? I don't even know what a Mini Cooper would be classified as, but overall, it's like you're comparing a car where I'm not going to say it's a sedan, but overall, let's just say for the sake of this argument, a quote unquote argument, it's a sedan or a smart car, or overall it's of a smaller car, and you're comparing it to a Mustang, a muscle car, a car that and it's very rare when I see like Mini Cooper races. I see Mustang races all the time. I don't see when people be racing no Mini Cooper. They be going from point A to point B in a Mini Cooper. Nobody races Mini Coopers. Some may race them, but not everybody be racing them, all right? But my thing is this, though. The guy is trying to, argue with me about this, and I'm like, fam, you're arguing with a person that has literally been, on my own free will, has been studying Mustangs, okay? If Camaros, if Dodge Challengers, and them cars are a lot faster than a Mini Cooper, and they can't beat out a Mustang, and they're in the same class, like maybe now Camaros and Dodge Challengers can beat out a Mustang, but at one point in time, I remember just getting into a lot of different videos watching Mustangs from Motor Trends. I think it was Car and Driver, or Driver and Driver, something like that. But I'm trying to think of some other channels. Yeah, I was just I reading articles. I created a whole page about Mustangs and Camaros, but I was mainly a Mustang guy. So my thing is this: arguing with me about, at one point in time, this was my dream car, all right? And you're trying to tell me that a car that's not even in the same class as a Mustang can beat out a Mustang. How do you think that argument is going to go? Just like the argument where you were trying to convince me of X4 Foundations being a good game. You see my point? And that's what I mean. It's people, when they do things like that, I really worry about them, because I'm like, fam, I know that you're definitely somebody that lacks of a social skill. You got issues, because I'm if you get that upset, and that's why I just really want to sit down and talk about this community. If you get that upset about somebody talking about your all-time favorite video game, you are the person that really needs to go outside, touch grass, smell some fresh air, do something with your life. But if you're that caught up and that upset with somebody talking about your all-time favorite video game, you seriously got problems. You do. Because I'm saying, like, with me talking on my frustrations with a video game where you already have it made up in your mind that you're going to play it. Because I'm saying, like, there's numerous Assassin's Creed Shadows, for an example. I'm trying to think of some other games. I even remember there was a time where one of my friends, this is a friend of mine's, where I was playing, what game was I playing? I think it might have been Forza or something like that. But anyways, it was either Forza or Gran Turismo. I can't remember what game, but I rated out to one of my friends, and they seen that I was playing a racing, or either they seen that I was playing a racing game, or I told them that I was playing a racing game. But anyways, they go on to say, like, oh, I've always found racing games boring. I didn't get upset about it. I didn't argue with them about it. I allowed them to say whatever they need to say about racing games. But the thing is this. I'm not going to, and I'm not even trying to be friends or cool with nobody from the X4 Foundation fan base. I'm like, I see how you guys be carrying on. It just seemed like it's too much. But anyways, my friend, when they had said that, it wasn't like I was gonna be like, oh well, friendship's over, you just disrespected all my favorite, because I love playing racing games, like Forza, Gran Turismo. That's even more so a reason why it's like when people and they be trying to like talk to me about cars, I'm like, besides actually sit down studying this stuff, I play a lot of different racing games. And a lot of the different racing games, like if they have it where it's pretty accurate, like on top speed and overall, like just like whatever car it is and stuff. That's one thing for sure that I don't ever remember. And I think that's just a test drive thing. I don't ever remember having a Mustang and I'm going up against a Mini Cooper, or I have a Mini Cooper and I'm going up against a Mustang. But so anyway, so the guy, he's still trying to debate me. And then at some point in time, I think it was, I looked up a video, or he told me to look up a video, and he was all like, he was like, I found a video of a Mini Cooper beating a Mustang. And I'm like, okay, let me see this. Cause I'm like, this is something that I definitely, need to sit down and watch. I'm like, yeah, even though I might be streaming and I should be playing the game, I definitely got to see this video of a Mini Cooper beating a Mustang. I find the video. And I've confirmed with him, is this the video that you're talking about? He said, yes. Fam, if we're comparing a old Mustang, this is what it was. It looked like it was a 2004 model Mustang, and it was going up against a 2013. It looked like it was of a newer Mini Cooper. And I'm thinking to myself, fam, a newer Mustang and a newer, like the latest models, that is a fair comparison, okay? But still, at the same time, it's not really a comparison, because like I said, two different class cars. But you're comparing a Mustang that came out, 10 years before this Mini Cooper, and therefore you won this debate, you won this argument because you found this one video. I'm like, fam, get out of here. I banned that guy. I'm like, I'm not hearing absolutely nothing that you gotta say. I'm like, no, you going carry on this love that you got for X4 Foundations, but I'm still going to have my ill feelings towards it. Because the thing is, and now sitting down and talking about the game and how I my own personal experience. So when I very first played that game, I realized there was going to be a game that I was going to have to sit down and make, or play for a little bit and stuff. So anyways, I remember, because like that's the thing with Steam, is that you have 2 weeks and 2 hours to figure out whether you're going to like this game or not. It's going to take you more than 2 hours to figure out how to play the game. So that right there is a red flag, because I'm like, in this day and age, it shouldn't be taking you no more than it should take you less than 30 minutes, if not 10 minutes, to figure out how to play the game, all right? But if 15 minutes tops, okay, I'm changing the times, going back and forth, but it should be 15 minutes tops to figure out everything that you need to figure out about the game. Why is there like 4-5+ pages of overall on how to play the game? And I'm thinking to myself, what do you guys possibly have in this game where it's going to definitely take me more than 2 hours to figure out how to play it? Because I've seen that, and I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to figure out how to fly, figure out how to shoot. What could possibly go wrong? Couldn't even get like to a point where I was doing a mission. Because that's the thing with that game. They don't have like no clear objective. Like, yeah, they have like some like it's comparing it to like other games that have objectives when they're all like, okay, go to this location and do this. All right, cool. X4 Foundation isn't like that. And a matter of fact, that's how they. So I gave up on the game right then and there, and I was like, not even gonna fool around with it. Then I seen that the game was on sale on I think it was G2A.com. So I was like, oh, okay, they got it on sale on there. I'll just go ahead, buy it, and then just give it a chance this time around, right? So anyways, I finally, get through the tutorials, do everything I need to do. I'm like, all right, I'm going to play this game for a little bit. So there was an area that they wanted me to go to. Now, how do most games usually work out when they want you to go to an unexplored area? They usually have like some sort, because the thing is this, the game had no issues with having it where some like it was like some autopilot feature, or even if not, well, no, they do. I believe, yeah, they do have an autopilot feature. But regardless, if there's an area that you've never been to before, what do most video games usually do, right? Like most video games usually have some sort of GPS system to let you know, or to, let you overall know where exactly you need to go on this map and things. So if you tell me, so like, let's say for an example, if I'm in Seattle and I'm trying to get to Bellevue, if the thing is this, I've never been to well, I've like on some real life stuff, I've been to Bellevue, but like for the sake of this example, if I've never been to Bellevue, I know Seattle, I'm from Seattle, but I'm like, okay, I want to go and explore Bellevue. What would one do if they're trying to go to Bellevue? They will use a GPS system, and that GPS system will take them to Bellevue and take them wherever they need to go out into Bellevue. So somebody is saying, hey, there's this really nice Foot Locker store out there in Bellevue. My GPS is going to be like, oh, well, because you ain't never been to this area before, therefore we can't check it on the map. What do you mean you can't check it on the map? And that's how X4 Foundation is set up. So there is a mission that I was supposed to do, and because I've never been to that area, I had to fly to that area myself. Now I don't mind flying. Now overall, yeah, that's the objective of the game. But what reason do I have to use the GPS if the GPS ain't even gonna take me to the area that I need to? Oh, it'll take me back to where I came from, but it ain't gonna take me to the area that I've never been to before. And that's the thing where I'm all like, if to any of the developers that's, and I imagine any of those developers, if you've traveled somewhere, whether it was by car, whether it was by boat, whether it was by plane, what do you usually use if you're traveling somewhere? You're using a map. You're using a GPS. You're not going to be on some stuff where it's all like, oh, well, because I ain't never been here before, I got to follow the golden rule of not using a map but GPS. So imagine if you're buying tickets to go to Disneyland, right? Wherever state that you live in, and the pilot's all like, oh, well, because I've never been to California before, I'm just going to assume that this is the right direction to go to. That plane is landing. That plane is 100% landing, and that pilot is being fired right then and there on the spot. Not going to be given no chances, not going to be given none of that. And I know people are going to try to come up with some argument like, oh, well, that's how they had to do it back in the old days. And you know what happened? At some point in time, fast forwarding a little bit forward, they came out with GPSs, because or at least maps. Because there's like, we can't just be going to random areas. You know how many times people are probably trying to go? Because I guarantee and I promise you, what was that dude's name? Christopher Columbus? He probably wasn't trying to come out here to America. And why? Because he ain't had no map. That man had a big giant binocular for one little eye, and he assumed that he was going in the right direction. Maybe he was always trying to go into the right direction, or he just told people, oh yeah, this is where I was going, just so he couldn't be. Because I guarantee and I promise you, he probably was trying to head somewhere else, and that's how he ended up here in America. But overall, I don't know, maybe they had maps back then. I don't know. I wasn't really a history guy growing up. But my thing is this. That's why you have maps. That's why you have GPSs. So it can guide you on where you need to go to. Not be like, oh, you just got to fly there on your own. And eventually, and that's the thing where I'm like, I don't like doing that with games. I like to just be able to play the game and just figure it out on my own. Literally, every game that I've heavily gotten into, from The Division, from Destiny, from Forza, from what are some other games I didn't got? Ace Combat. I'm trying to think of some other games. Even this new game that just recently came out, Enzo. And I'm like, and I'm trying to think of a game. Well, you know what? Yeah, let's just use Destiny and The Division for an example, because those are two games where I would have to, especially Destiny. That was a video game where I've never played a game like that before. Like, I have played shooter games, but I'll have to say a game like Destiny, I ain't never played that type of game before. But here's the thing though, I didn't go onto YouTube to figure out how to play that game. I didn't watch or go through a bunch of different articles or read all these different things from forums to figure out how to play that game. They made sure of it, and they knew that there are going to be people playing our game for the first time. So what should we do if people are playing our game for the first time? We need to make this game easy. This can't be no difficult, crazy, over-the-top game. We need to make an easy video game. Where was that thought process with the development of X4 Foundations? And there's even been times where people have told me, like people that sit down and play X4 Foundations, they have told me, yeah, this game wasn't it. The older X4 game or X games were actually better. I think it was X3 or it was either X2 or X3, but I just remember somebody had joined my stream and they were a fan of X4 Foundation. And they were telling me that they was all like, yeah, X4 Foundation wasn't. And if you got people within your community telling me that that game isn't good, I'm taking that information and I'm running with it. But it's them fans that be like, oh, I gotta, you done offended me in this game and the developers and all that. Oh, now I gotta go after you. I gotta debate you. People gotta stop with that debate and stuff. I'm like, you think everybody on the internet trying to debate you? No, I'm not. I'm stating my opinion and I'm moving on in life. But if you're gonna get mad about my opinion, then I'm just gonna talk more and more crap about X4 Foundations. Cause to me, it don't make no sense where this game's been out for how long? Hold on for a second. It was like 2018 when that game came out, I think they said. Was it in early access? No, it wasn't. It just released straight out of nowhere. So November 30th, 2018, this game comes out. When was the last time they did? Oh, they came out with an update yesterday. But it's like, you got DLCs for this game, and I'm like, fam, no, you need to be focused on the base game itself. $49.99 for a game, and it's like, you can't even figure it out day one. There's all these other different things that people are telling me. They're like, oh yeah, it's just best. You have content in the game that I can't even sit down and play. Like, that's what people be telling me when I go and start ranting about stuff in this game from the missions. They're like, oh yeah, it's best to just go around and just fly around and explore and loot things and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, that's not fun, bro. I'm like, if my thing is this, if I buy a game, I want to play the whole game. I don't want to play parts of the game. I want to play the whole game. And that's even an issue that I did have with Destiny, where it's like they had them raid missions and you can't even play the raid missions unless you invited other people. And I'm like, bro, it's games like that where it's like, when you need other people's assistance, and even just talking on X4, where it's like there's people telling me how to play the game, and I'm like, fam, like, why is this a game that requires all of that? Why does it require other people to tell me how to play the game? That's why I'm like, for $49.99, I should be able to get an experience that I want. So that's why I'm like, yeah, people, they ask me, should I get X4 Foundations? I'm going to be honest with them. I'm going to tell them no, especially if I know that that person is a casual gamer. I'm like, no, you leave that game alone. There are other games that you could get into where you won't have to like learn a whole new skill of how to play this game. And there's all these other different games out there where it's like, fam, you don't even need to, you can not even be a gamer. You could just, your very first time playing the game and you understand it straight from the jump. X4 Foundation, that's not the case. I'm like, that's one of those games where I'm like, you guys made this for a certain group of people. So that's stuff like that needs to be said either in the cover art or in the description, where it's like, hey, this game isn't meant for casual players. So overall, it's best if you play one of these other titles where they are meant for casual players. Like, there's the one game that I've played, Elite Dangerous, and I have my issues with Elite Dangerous. But overall, I'm like, and that's another game where I'm like, man, I would like to see where that game's like overall when it's like fully developed and it's a little bit more polished out. But Star Citizen, I honestly I can't wait to see how that game. But I'm like Star Citizen, I ain't have all them issues with that game. I'm like, yeah, there might be, some not really learning curves, but it's just when you're playing a game for the first time and you're trying to figure out how to do missions and how to do this and how to explore this and how to, I'm like, okay, I can get past, but overall, X4 Foundation, it's like you're really learning how to. It's almost as if you're a baby trying to play a video game for the first time. And I'm like, man, I haven't felt like that since I was a baby playing Mario on the Nintendo 64. And I'm like, bro, X4 Foundations, yeah, like I said, it's a game that it's like, it ain't meant for everybody, and that's something I'm like, I stand by that. And overall, it's just, yeah, it's one of those games where I'm like, it doesn't need to be sold off as a video game. It honestly, it should be in its own little section because it's not really a video game. Like if I could be truthfully honest, and I think that's why I am going to title this podcast episode, X4 Foundation is not a video game. It's something else, but it's not a video game. Yeah, maybe if they want to call themselves a simulation game, then okay, cool, call yourself that. But as far as a video game that's sold off in it could be sold off in GameStops, Best Buy stores, like no, far from that. Far, far, far from that. When you're looking at all these other different games that exist in this world where it's like you could go into a store and buy that game. You could tell your friends about it. You can actually have fun with that game. X4 Foundations, I have yet to hear any of my friends tell me, oh, I seen this game called X4 Foundations. It's not one of those games. It is, and I don't think it ever will be one of those games unless they do some changes to it and make it where it's a little bit more easier and accessible to a person of my standards when it comes to a video game. And I'm like, man, all I'm just trying to do is just have fun with it. If I can't do that, then I'm like, yeah, you ain't going to be getting no promotions out of me. I'm going to be truthfully honest with people. I'm not going to lie and be all like, oh, it's that. No, this game is not good for somebody that is just casually trying to play a game. And I know there's going to be people out there trying to do any and everything in their power to defend it. I'm not hearing no defenses for X4 Foundations. I have my mind made up. You literally cannot tell me nothing to change my mind about X4 Foundations. And what's crazy is that, so recently I downloaded the game, right? Because I'm like, you know what? They do have like a ship creation, I think, mode or something like that. And I'm gonna, because I created a art commentary channel where I just create some random art, but I kind of, do some commentary in the background where I'm just talking about random stuff, right? And I was going to download X4 Foundation and use it for that channel. When I started seeing all these fans just bombarding my comment sections, getting upset with me, I deleted the game. And I do not ever care for playing that game again in my life. Yeah, maybe if the developers come out with an update to make it to where it's a little bit more casual and maybe push out some of these toxic fans. Because really, though, I honestly think that's why the game is in the state that it's in right now. It's because of the toxic fan base. I'm like, when people see stuff like that, that doesn't make a person want to get into that community or get into playing that game. I'm saying, like, if I would have known that, if I would have seen that prior before buying the game, I wouldn't have bought it. I just left that game alone and been all like, hey, more power to the developers, but you got a community that's going to honestly do more damage than good for that game. So if I'm the developers, I definitely will pay attention to your guys' community. But overall, I'm like, they're making money. They could care less what I'm saying. So anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. I might do some episodes again talking about that game. But overall, I have no desires on playing it again. If they come out with an X5 and they're all like, yeah, this game is a little bit meant more for a casual player. Okay, cool. I'll look into it. But I won't buy it. I'm like, like I said, I'll look into it. If it's a game worth buying, then I might buy it. But overall, if not, then yeah, I particularly don't care. Maybe I should do that. I should re-download the game, find all the problems and flaws that I've seen with it, and then say, this is how you guys, because my thing is this, if when it comes down to developing a video game, are you going to listen to random people, I guess, that's not really a gamer? Or are you going to listen to somebody that knows about video games? Because I'm saying, like, I might not be no expert, but I feel like I have been playing video games long enough, so at least I can call myself an expert when it comes to video games. And you name any, the thing is this, you can throw any video game in front of me and ask me, how could we make this game better? What could we possibly do? So like, let's say for an example, Madden. It's like, how can you make a football game where they already have their foundation, they already have their stuff going for that game? What could you possibly do to Madden to make that game into a better game? There's numerous different ways you can play football, and I know people gonna probably be all like, whoa, wait a minute. Or even if it's like, if I can't even, because I'm like, yeah, more so it could be like street football, but like they can do that. They can add it to where you can get into like fights and stuff with the other players. They have it where you can like walk around and explore the stadium. They can have it where you can add like have like a coach like mode and stuff where you're standing on the sidelines and you're coaching your teammates. They can have it where it's all like, I don't know, maybe a mode where you're having to like smash the buttons to make the fans get louder. Or yeah, you could even be a fan in the crowd or something. There's numerous things you could do to Madden. All right, same with basketball. And I was just actually saying that with NBA 2K, that they did the same thing, that same mode, or mode that for Madden, where I'm like, they can you can be a coach and things. Yeah, they should have that same thing for NBA 2K. And then I'd blow like, what are some other games? Destiny. I'm like, have it where you can fly around the spaceships and go from planet to planet. You know, have it where it's all like these the aliens in the game. Now they got their own spaceships and you could get into space battles with them. I'm saying there's so many different spaceships that you can have in Destiny 1 and 2. Space battles should have been a thing that should have came out a long time ago, rather than what are some of the stuff that they be doing in that game. And I'm like, yeah, you guys, and no, so this is what I'm like, what Bungie can actually do. If there is all like, you guys just wanted to make $1 million real quick, re-release Destiny 1 remastered on PC and have it where people can play that game. Because I guess, like, yeah, there's probably people out there that don't have a gaming console, or they don't have no way of playing the very first Destiny. All they could just play is Destiny 2 and I guess imagine how or watch videos. But overall, I'm like, no, Destiny 1 should be remastered. Come back out with all the different DLCs, have it where we could play all the the raids in its original format, missions in its original format. Or they can have it where they do a Destiny 2 Legacy and they bring back all the missions that everybody had paid money for versus taking that stuff out. I'm saying, like, there's so many different video games out there where developers do stuff. And I'm like, fam, why are you guys not listening to the fans? Like, listen to the fans when they're asking for stuff, man. Not just some fans, not just the toxic fans. No, all fans. The people that put money into your guys' game. All right, so I'm like, man, I'm telling you, it can, like, you know what? The thing is this. I want people to challenge me. I really do. I really want people to challenge me. If you want to so much as see how good I am at this, like, how to make a video game better, I honestly, I might even just, you know what, forget even just challenge me. I'm going to challenge myself in doing it. I'm going to do a series where I talk on how can I make video games better, and add all these different ideas, where I am kind of doing a series like that already. It's called Hear Me Out. But I think more so for video games. I'm like, I think it's just going to be one just strictly for video games. Because, nah, man, it's like X4 Foundation. It can be a good game, but I feel like that they're just making it way too difficult to where it's like you're going to make people leave this game more so than, I guess, than playing it. Because I'm like, ain't nobody going to want to play a game that they can't even figure out. Or it's like they got to play through a tutorial and then watch a bunch of different YouTube tutorials afterwards. No, a video game shouldn't be like that. A video game shouldn't be where it's like you got to put at minimum 5 hours into the just figuring out how to play the game, and then afterwards that's when you get to actually sit down and play it. That's not, no, I don't call that a video game. And I'm like, and it's stuff like that where I'm like, look, to developers that want to continue or they want to carry on that legacy, oh, well, let's drag out the tutorial and all this other stuff. Then they get into the real action of the game. A lot of developers are going to fail as developers doing stuff like that. So anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode, and peace.